Good morning, beautiful people. It is Monday, March 23rd. Obviously, another day in the quarantine world that we're living in. I found a sport on Friday that I was going to fall in love with and was going to become my new thing. AFL, Australian rules football. It was postponed until May. So now we are living in a world where there is literally no sports happening on any part of our planet. Now, we understand this is for the betterment of society. I understand everybody has to stay home. And what we'll do during these times is continue to dance, monkey, dance, and put on a show. Tom Pelissaro from the NFL Network will be here in the first hour. Sean Merriman in the second hour. A lot of big things happening, still cooking in our world, even though everybody seems to be confined to the indoors. Ben Roethlisberger looked like he came out of a cave this weekend to make an announcement that everybody should wash their hands and stay home. If you're like his kids, some stay-at-home activities include golfing in the backyard. I love that Ben Roethlisberger's back. I love that he's putting good messages out to the community. And I like that we're all battling through this together. Speaking of together, would like to hear from you. 1-833-622-3331. Join the conversation. We got Tom Brady, Bill Belichick drama news. We got a Jadeveon Clowney going back to the Seahawks. We got Jameis Winston basically being slotted in to be a backup quarterback. We got Canada and Australia saying they will not be going to the Olympics. We got a lot of stuff happening in cooking, even though it might seem as if there's nothing going on. Let's have a hell of a Monday. Evan Foxy, please play some handsome Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for middle vacation, for a heart of mission, on your medication.
Oh, you hit that. You hit it.
Give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the McAfee Show. McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is Chase Rice. Nice little sing-along there. Joining me in studio at Nick Moraldo's on the ones and twos. At Tone Diggs, looking thin. Ty Schmidt. Jason McAfee. Cuban Zeet looks fantastic with a brand new cigar. At Evan Foxy. And on the phones, 1-833-622-3331. A man that is about to experience a Detroit Lions-like level of football from Boston, old Connor Campbell.
Did you just say the Detroit Lions?
Well, the big news today is from an article written by a guy named Wickersham.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was his name?
Seth Wickersham.
Wickersham. Seth Wickersham of ESPN wrote an entire article, like 7-scroller. It was like a 7-scroll article. I tried to watch it. I tried to read it while taking my pre-show dump. My feet fell asleep, and I was only halfway through. It was a book, basically, detailing about how we could look back on the last couple years and put together that Tom Brady was not happy in New England. Now, I didn't make it all the way through it because, like I said, my feet fell asleep. I wasn't able to stand up whenever I was about to do it because of how long the article was. You know how on like some social media platforms, they'll give you an article and give you a guesstimation on how long it would take for you to read? This one, I don't even think they put a guesstimation on. They're like, how long did it take for you to read Harry Potter? Basically, they were piecing together, Wickersham piece together everything that Tom had done for like the last 20 years that almost makes you believe that this was a match that was not made in heaven. This was a match where Bill Belichick refused to let Tom Brady have any fun and have any say in the things that were happening. The Patriot way was one that was talked about and fantasized about and said that this is why they win so much. And it turns out, if you read this article, and I only read half of it, I didn't get to see the other half, so maybe they even dove deeper or not. Tom Brady was about done with the Patriot way a long time ago, is what old Wickersham basically alluded to. Bill Belichick never wanted Tom Brady to feel as if he was warranted of the success and the GOAT talk that he had earned. They didn't want him to have fun. Basically, anybody that was around Tom Brady knew that he was all but gone as soon as his free agency started. And it just so happens that on St. Patrick's Day, Boston was told about it. And as we continue to move forward, Tom Brady's tweeting to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fans, come watch us this season. He has moved on. The Patriots fans have not. Boston Connor Campbell is still upset and frustrated anytime he sees Tom Brady do anything. But the more and more that gets released, which I think is going to happen, you're going to see that old Tom wanted to be a Patriot. The Patriots didn't want Tom Brady to be a Patriot.
Wow.
That is what I think is going to. If you read that Wickersham article, what's his name? Jason Wickersham. Seth Wickersham. You read his article. He took his time writing this article.
I read it.
There's no way you read the entire thing.
I did.
There hasn't been enough time since it's released till now for you to read the whole thing. But for a lot of that thing, I mean, it was talking about how all Tom wanted to be was accepted in New England, in the Patriots organization. All Tom wanted was to be appreciated by the Patriots organization. That's all he wanted. And you know what he wanted to do? God wanted to have fun.
That's it.
It's a kid's game. He just wanted to have fun. He has 6 Super Bowls. He just wants to enjoy it. Bill Belichick refused to let him do that, is what I'm being told. That's what if I read it right, my advanced reader level is not that high, but if I read that article right, it sure feels like Tom wanted to be a Patriot. The Patriots didn't want Tom to be a Patriot.
I mean, if he's all about having fun, the Patriots way has never been fun. Everyone's always said that. So somewhere along the lines, I don't know if it's when you hit 40 or something, all of a sudden championships don't matter as much and you rather, I guess, have fun.
Was it? This is 0% surprising.
That's like a cult, by the way.
Despicable.
That's what it sounds. You sound like a guy in a cult back here.
A cult?
Yeah, a cult.
Me?
Yeah.
In a cult?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
I was watching that Tiger King, and I was like, Connor, this could have been Connor's life. This could have been Connor's life back here if it wasn't for this company right here.
Maybe the teeth, but come on. I mean, not in that tiger cage.
Yeah, you could have been. You don't know how much meth they were cooking up over there. What were you going to say, Diggs?
Wasn't it? It was like
Joe Exotic was framed, by the way. I don't want to hear it. Joe Exotic was not a great zookeeper. Okay, did not treat his cats, let's say, overly well. Probably a despicable human in all aspects. But what they got him in jail for, he was framed.
Free Joe.
He was framed. Free Joe Exotic. Hashtag. Sorry.
hey, no part. When
He married 2 dudes that were straight. Think about that. He got married.
Very influential man. Powerful.
I mean, if Joe Exotic wants something done, something happens. Even if you're 2 heterosexual males, you will both marry him at the same time. Joe Exotic gets things done.
How quick would he have had Connor cleaning those tiger
Oh,
cages?
my God. Connor would have been in there with a broom and a mop. Both of them just going to town in there. No way. He would have been a part of Joe Exotic's whole crew.
There's nothing wrong with holding a little mop. I love mopping up the floors. Of course.
Yeah, well, in this particular case, you'd be doing it in a cult over there. But Joe Exotic was framed. What were you going to say, though, about Tom Brady hating Bill Belichick?
like in the article when this all started around 2017, wasn't that the time when like it seemed like Bill maybe was trying to have fun? Like at the Super Bowl, he was going to games and wearing hats and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they didn't punt one time in that Super Bowl, but they lost, and Bill was like, "No more fun."
Yeah, I don't know. You know, it really feels like Bill Belichick was able to have fun, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was at those games, courtside, smiling, having the time of his life. Bill Belichick was always making sure nobody else would have fun. It's kind of an interesting situation. How do you feel as a Patriot fan for real, knowing that Tom Brady definitely wanted to go back and be a Patriot? Definitely. All these things that are being leaked out. Tom wanted to be a Patriot. The Patriots ultimately just didn't want Tom to be there anymore.
I mean, we can say Tom wanted to be a Patriot. Tom wanted this. He wanted $30 million, and he wanted good weapons at wide receiver. He didn't want to be a Patriot anymore. We did what we could. Bill did what he could. He brought in AB. AB didn't work. Josh Gordon didn't work. DeAndre Hopkins, Stephon Diggs didn't work. He tried.
DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't think he tried for those last 2.
Yeah. The reports the Patriots went after DeAndre Hopkins and Stephon Diggs didn't get the job done. I mean, he did what he could, but Brady changed along the way.
Oh, my God. This is unbelievable. I will tell you this. I'll make this declaration right here on this Monday, March 23rd. Tom Brady will see 2 Super Bowls before Bill Belichick will see another one.
Wow.
Tom Brady will see 2 Super Bowls. 2 Super Bowls before Bill Belichick will see another one. And I'm not saying Bill Belichick's not going to see another one because I think he will outlast Tom Brady. His career as head coach for the Patriots will outlast Tom Brady's career as quarterback, okay? I think that's just, it seems like Bill Belichick is getting younger somehow. And like, it's almost like he has this reinvigoration of what he has to become now that old Tom's gone out of his hair, basically, is probably how he views it. Thank God we got the best quarterback of all time out of here. So now I can really shine is how Bill Belichick feels. It feels like, but I think he will coach longer than Tom Brady will play. But I think Tom Brady will see 2 Super Bowls before. Now I'm not saying they'll win one, but I think he'll see 2 Super Bowls before Bill Belichick will see another one.
It seems like at the end of the day, Brady just wanted the Patriots to just show him an ounce of respect, and they just refused to do so.
Just one little ounce of
just
respect.
a tiny bit.
20 years I've been here, man.
6 Super Bowls.
Taking pay cuts. Excuse me. I'll take less so you can tell everybody else to take less so we can continue to build up this team. I'll do something that Jared Goff wouldn't do. I'll do something that Russell Wilson wouldn't do. I'll do something that all these quarterbacks that got these massive contracts and their teammates weren't able to get paid. I'll do that for you. For 20 years, I'll do that for you. I'll be the peak picture of what you're looking for your organization to be. Yep. I will grind. I will work hard. I will show up. I will not complain. I will go to press conferences and be on to Cincinnati, just like Bill Belichick. I will buy in 100%, knowing that I'm the greatest player on earth, and everybody else knowing that too. But whenever it's all said and done, maybe treat me like I'm a goat a little bit every once in a while.
Yeah.
Maybe if I want Alex Guerrero's little protein shakes in the office, hey, maybe put them in the office. How about that? You don't think I've deserved that? You don't think I've earned that? Oh, only you? You have, Bill? Only you've been able to earn those decisions? What about me? What about me, says Tom Brady. And now he's got another lady that's ready to take care of him, giving him more money than he's ever gotten, giving him more control than he's ever gotten, even though he said he didn't want it, by the way.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay has come out and said he doesn't want roster control, doesn't want anything. All he wants is everybody's phone number so he could text him and invite him to his parties.
What a
That's
guy.
all he wants.
He's a stand-up guy.
That's all Tom Brady wants.
Lies.
Listen, I read a full-page article that was taken out in the Boston newspaper and in the Tampa Bay newspaper from Robert Kraft saying this guy, a gentleman, on and off the field, basically, is what he said. And everything Tom Brady does proves it. Kisses his kid, shows affection. You know?
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay, guys. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
What was that?
Now we're talking about how nice it is that he's kissing his kids.
Yeah. I think it's a great thing.
You
that he
guys
kisses
are
his
changing
kid.
more than Brady over the past year.
No. He's
father.
kissing his kid. He's a good dad. He loves his family. I mean, he's been faithful his entire life. I mean,
not to the Patriots.
the things about Tom Brady is just this guy is the peak of what you're looking for. And Belichick couldn't wait to kick him out of it. Just kick him the hell out. Get out of here. This is my team. I'll bring back Hoyer for a 1 year, $1 million deal.
Wild Hoyer, baby.
1 year, $1 million deal. He can back up Stidham, teach him how to throw 4 picks in a game like I did for the Colts last year, Hoyer says. I bet you Hoyer's a good guy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I bet you Hoyer's a good guy.
Great guy.
Hell of a teacher.
I don't know. He's from Michigan State.
Michigan
so-
State guy.
Makes a lot more sense. All right, we got to get to a break. Tom Pelissaro from NFL Network, Insiders on the other side. All this information that rolls out, though, Tom Brady wanted to be a Patriot. He didn't want to go anywhere else. He loves those fans up there. He's so thankful for everything that the New England Patriot fan base has given him. The love, the admiration, the cheering. But none of that could trickle into the facility. And nobody in the facility could ever just show Tom 1 little ounce of thanks. You know? Hey, you get in trouble, Tom? This is on you by yourself. We get in trouble, it's on all of us. That's why Spygate, everybody was at the press conference, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Deflategate, though, just Tom. You're going to have to ask Tom about that. Just throwing him under the bus.
Heard Bill never gave him a game ball once.
All Tom wanted was a game ball. Can a guy get a game ball?
What is he, 12?
No, he's a human who deserves a little bit of respect. And that'll be something he'll get down in Tampa Bay, Florida, that he could never get in Foxborough. Tom Pelissaro on the other side. This is Pat McAfee Show. It's a shame.
It's happening. People are freeing themselves from their wireless contracts. It's a movement towards something simple.
Get truly unlimited data on a 5G ready network for just $45 a month with no contract ever. Simple Mobile. Out with the old, in with the simple.
Your motivational speech for our listeners to come back to McAfee and Hawk, a sports show, tomorrow.
So, yeah, I'm not doing an inspirational thing. You like to do this and try to paint me into a corner and get all your little buddies to cheer and rally around and have the sarcastic cheer for me to do something like that.
No, that's not what we do at all. You don't know us at all.
So, yeah, I know your game. I'm older than all of you, too, I believe. So, like, it's not like I'm the little brother that you're taking advantage of. That's what you try to do here in these moments. I know.
No.
So I can hearing the guys' voices in the background. AJ. But yeah, I think right now we're in the weirdest time ever, Pat. We really are.
Yeah, we are.
It's a brutal, weird time. Stop clapping for me. It's not a motivational talk.
Yeah, it is. Let's go.
You have a 10 to 12 radio show still every day, correct?
Oh yeah, I do.
So yeah, most likely at 1 p.m. daily, we're going to go on here and we're going to talk about what's going on and see free agency in the world.
Where's a wall for me to run through? Thank you for that, AJ.
This is so stupid.
That's what we're talking about, AJ. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk.
Look good, feel good, play good.
Play good, pay good, live good, die good. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here Monday, March 23rd. Joining us now, an insider from the NFL Network and NFL.com, Tom Pelissaro.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'll tell you what, top 5 hair and sports analyst calling from home game right now for you. That's a good-looking haircut right there.
Wait about 2, 3, 4 weeks when every place you can get your hair cut here is shut down, and let's see what this thing still looks like.
That's what I got going on right now, Tom.
It'll probably be similar to that.
Easy. All right, Tom, thank you for joining us on this day of quarantine where you're locked in the house, by the way. We appreciate you doing that for society and for our show. I have a question, and this might come a little bit aggressive, but it seems real with the more and more I hear. Why did Bill Belichick and the Patriots hate Tom Brady? That's what it sure feels like that is what has happened in this whole thing. Tom wanted to be a Patriot, it sounds like, and the Patriots didn't want Tom back. Is that accurate?
It's complicated. Let's put it that way. You got a 20-year relationship here in which you've had a great deal of success. Bill Belichick treats everybody the same way. That's kind of the genius of his approach. It's also the part that can wear on certain people. The stories always go around that when, Tom Brady would make throw an interception in a game, Belichick would put it up on the board on Monday and tear him a new one and talk about how bad the throw was. And he would do that even though you've got a guy who's wearing all these rings and has had all the accolades that Brady has. The Patriots also had certain constraints from a cap perspective. That didn't ultimately make the decision, but they weren't going to blow him away with money. They weren't going to blow him away with telling him how great he is. That's just not Belichick's style. And so Brady at this point, about to turn 43 years old, wants a new challenge, wants to, if you read his Instagram posts, clearly is, energized by the idea of going someplace else and trying to win. And they got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and some other toys down there in Tampa for him to play with.
Well, the thought is potentially that all he wanted was just one compliment. I mean, that's all he wanted, just one compliment. That's all he wanted, and he just couldn't get it. Wickersham. Wickersham's article was a 14-scroller that basically laid out everything, and it said Tom just wanted to feel loved from the Patriots, and that wasn't the case. So let's talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kind of came out of nowhere. If you listen to some stories from the Buccaneers side, it sounds like they were surprised that they were even potentially in the running for Tom Brady as well. Is that accurate that Bruce and Light felt that way? They didn't know they were potentially going to be in the Tom Brady sweepstakes. Then once they get in there, like, we think we can get this guy. And now it seems like it was the perfect fit all along, especially if they can bring in Antonio Brown, which Bruce Arians has been against, Tom has been for. That offense could be one that is very, very must-watch television.
And Tom made that clear to other teams that he spoke to, that he wanted Antonio Brown to come along. The difference in Tampa, there's several of them. One being they got a couple of good receivers already. You don't need to build this thing from scratch. But also, the head coach has worked with the player. People point to the comments that Bruce made on AB about how being too much diva. But if you read his whole quotes from that same interview, it's largely complimentary about how hard the guy worked and the attitude he brought to the table every day when they had all those good receivers in Pittsburgh. Don't close the door on it. It sounds like it's unlikely at this point, but you never know. I mean, there's not a lot of other teams that are going to touch Antonio Brown at this point, and the NFL is still reviewing his status. With regard to Tampa, in general, it probably became more realistic once Tennessee was out. Once Tennessee locked in on re-signing Ryan Tannehill, then the place where Brady was going to have the most familiarity with Mike Vrabel, with John Robinson had been in New England, with some other people, the guys that he would have gone to play with for other reasons besides strictly just the talent on the field, which Tennessee has a lot of that too. Once that was gone, it started to become a little bit more real for Tampa. By Tuesday morning, the negotiating window opens at noon on Monday. By Tuesday morning, Bucs people were telling people that I've spoken to, they were very confident. They thought Tom Brady was coming to Tampa. That's all the time it took. Technically, under the rules, they couldn't even talk to Brady. They could only talk to his agent, Don Yee, at that point. But money was not going to drive this decision for Tom Brady. It was going to be the other things. It was going to be the opportunity to win. Setting aside the Bucs' entire history, which does not exactly suggest that they're equipped to win on a big level, they got a lot of things going for them in terms of the talent level. They got enough flexibility to continue to add parts. They've got some guys who can get after the pass rusher on defense. In a division where Drew Brees is on the older side, the Saints are still the team that you got to go through. But Carolina is in transition at this point. Atlanta is in a kind of a make or break type of year. It seems like down there where they're trying to do some things differently. You can certainly see the path where Brady can see, okay, this is how we're going to get into the playoffs. This is how we're going to get a bye. This is how we're going to have a chance to add that 7th Super Bowl ring. Can they put it all together at a time where Brady's been in one offense for 20 years of his career, and now you're going to take that entire thing and put it into Tampa? Bruce Arians is a really smart offensive coach, but it'll just be fascinating to see how quickly they can get that up to speed, especially because, given the COVID-19 pandemic, I don't know how much, if any, work you're going to get prior to training camp, if then.
Well, they can probably ship him the plays on an iPad and things like that. I'd assume
he can ship them the plays, yeah.
That is so hilarious to think about. So you're thinking, your understanding as being an insider and listening to have your ear to the ground in this whole world, going into free agency, Tom to Tennessee was a real thing. And then I'm reading and hearing that Tom to the Niners Tom wanted to go to the Niners as well. Were all those stories that we heard about him potentially going to the Titans because Vrabel was there, maybe going back to the Niners? How about the Chargers? Were Las Vegas Raiders? What teams, now the Bucs obviously is where he ended up, what teams were actually in the mix? And did Tom truly not know what the hell was going to happen going into free agency in your eyes?
The only things that were truly real by the end that we know of were the Chargers and Tampa. Tennessee was real in that, like everybody, it's Tom Brady's a free agent. How do you not consider that? You have natural connections there. Their quarterback's a free agent. It was real to the regard that they had to have the conversation. Same thing with San Francisco. I mean, they've just been to the Super Bowl. It's Tom Brady. Again, we're talking about Tom Brady. This is not just any free agent. How do you not at least have that conversation? I mean, Brady was absolutely going in open-minded to the process. In the end, he had, in essence, two realistic choices for him. He could go to the Chargers, be on the West Coast, away from his family. We know that there are various family dynamics there that were going to impact this situation. Playing in a potentially, assuming that it stays on schedule, a brand new stadium. There'd be a lot of hype surrounding it. It certainly would have been a coup for the Chargers to get him at a time that they're trying to claw back any share of the market that they can from the Rams. But staying on the East Coast with the Bucs, playing for a coach who's had proven success with the weapons that he has around him. In the end, all things equal, Tampa, surprising as it is to say, right now, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers ended up making a lot of sense for Tom Brady.
The old Tampa Tommy is going to be something that I can't wait to watch. I think they're going to do very well. I think they're going to have real success, not just because of Bruce Arians, by the way. That entire coaching staff is a very talented group of, it's almost like their swan song down there. Now, Byron Leftwich is young, but there's a lot of old head coaches that have been together for a long time down there who know how to win, and I would assume adding Tom Brady's big old brain to that mix isn't going to be a bad thing, like Belichick thought whenever Tom would decide to speak. Now, let's talk about some other free agents. It was alleged that Jadeveon Clowney was looking for $20 million a year. Was that true? And was that why the Seattle Seahawks were like, you can go see if anybody else will pay you that, and then once you hear from them, come back to us? Is that kind of the state of affairs for Jadeveon Clowney? Because everybody's saying he's probably going back to the Seahawks.
That's not true. My understanding is he wants more. He wants 21 plus, which is DeMarcus Lawrence type of money. That would be the top of the free agent market for defensive ends. Lawrence right now, the highest paid one. I mean, Clowney absolutely wants to be paid like the guy. He's an immensely talented player. He's going to get a lot of money. There was skepticism within the league going into the free agent process that anyone would give him that based upon, the productivity, which again, he impacts the games in ways more than sacks, but he's a 3-sack guy a year ago. Plus you have an injury history to deal with, the fact that he's had a second now core muscle surgery that he had back in January. Of course, he also had microfracture knee surgery. Your team doctors currently cannot give anybody a physical. You can't go give someone a physical. You can't have them come in to give a physical. That's another part of the dynamic here. The Seahawks absolutely remain interested in him. There are several other teams that have remained in contact with Clowney. The issue comes down to, is he hell-bent on trying to get $20 million plus? If he is, he may have to sit a while to, see whether or not somehow in a second wave of the market here, when everybody's looking around saying, where are we going to get a pass rusher? Someone just decides to say, screw it, we'll give him the money.
Tom Brady's getting $25 million next year. Drew Brees is getting $25 million next year. Phillip Rivers is getting $25 million next year. And Jadeveon Clowney wants $21 million. That is awesome. I love that is Jadeveon. Will anybody pay him that? No way. There's no way.
It's tough, especially because you're talking about a guy who it seems like wants a longer-term deal. He's kind of gone year to year here, with the playing on the franchise tag last year, the willingness to take it from Seattle, play on the tag. But my understanding has been he doesn't want to go back on a short-term deal. That may end up being the best thing for him to do in the end. Again, we're talking about, mindset, which can evolve over time. But think of it this way. The salary cap's going to go up next year. All right. It came in a little bit lower than everybody thought at $198 million this season because of the way that the revenue split's going to increase for the players from 47 to 48%. The pie should grow. Now, again, different dynamics, the global pandemic, potential impact on TV ratings, on games, all that. That's difficult to predict. But in theory, there should be more money in the marketplace a year from now. But if you're Clowney, and again, you've had an injury history, you're looking for some level of commitment, some security here moving forward. There's risk involved when you're talking about playing on yet another shorter term contract. So he's going to have to make a decision ultimately. Again, does he take the best offer that's on the table, or does he do what Ndamukong Suh, for instance, has done in recent years, which is say, I'm not concerned about signing. I'm not going to rush to take anything. You talk to me in March. You talk to me in August. We'll find a way to get a deal done. I'm going to wait till I get my number. There's guys who have done that. You got to be pretty special to pull it off. Clowney qualifies as a special player. He just got to be looking at the history with the injuries and everything else.
I hope he gets $21 million. So bad. I hope he just gets $21 million. That'd be incredible. Because we talked to Rob.
Supply and demand. Look at the other rushers, man. Look at the guy. Look at what Dante Fowler got. $15 million a year from the Falcons. Leonard Floyd gets cut by the Bears. Next day gets $10 million fully guaranteed for 1 year with the Rams, upside to 13.5. Robert Quinn just got $14 million a year from the Bears. I mean, that's a going rate. There are not many of those dudes who can get after the pass rusher. They're all getting their money. Clowney just wants more than everybody else.
$14 million a year, a little bit different than $21 million a year.
One guy's made money. Clowney's made a fair amount of money. He was the number one pick. He can afford. He can sit back a little bit longer than some of the other guys can.
Let's talk about all the other quarterbacks that could potentially end up with no homes. Cam Newton, everybody's assuming he's going to get cut from the Carolina Panthers. Are the Chargers going to be in play for them? Because the Chargers came out immediately upon the Panthers and Cam Newton trade discussion that kind of took over Instagram there for a little bit, to be honest, with the way the Carolina Panthers rolled out that they're allowing Cam Newton and his team to seek a trade. Then Cam obviously comes in the comment section. Then Greg Olsen comes on top. And basically, the Chargers had to come out and say that they're prepared to move forward with Tyrod Taylor. Was that strictly to tell the Carolina Panthers, we're not trading anything for him, we'll wait for you to cut him? Do you think Cam Newton ends up there? How about Jameis Winston? It's about all but secured he's going to have to go somewhere and agree to be a backup quarterback whenever that could have never been his thought going into free agency. They're saying maybe to the Steelers. And Andy Dalton, is there still a thought that Andy Dalton's going to end up being the quarterback for the Patriots? Or are they stuck with Stidham? Not stuck. Are they sold on Stidham being the guy going forward?
That was a lot of questions, Pat. Let me try to take them one by one. With the Chargers and Cam, what we know is that Anthony Lynn has a history with Tyrod Taylor. They work together in Buffalo. He plays the style that Lynn wants in terms of just don't turn the ball over. If you have a knock on Taylor through his career, it's that he doesn't take any chances, but he doesn't turn it over, allows them to run the football. That's where they want to make the commitment to Austin Eckler. They're going to more of a zone running scheme. That they believe that they're okay with Taylor being the bridge to what is most likely going to be a highly drafted quarterback this year, assuming that one of those guys is still there at number 6. With Jameis Winston, yeah, it's tough. I mean, my understanding of kind of the mindset now is, try to go somewhere and be this year's Ryan Tannehill, somebody who goes somewhere, just get in the right spot to continue to develop. If you get your opportunity, make the most of it. But there aren't that many of those spots out there. I mean, you look at Chicago would have been one. They already traded for Nick Foles. Could you go to Miami when they potentially are drafting a rookie quarterback there? You still have Ryan Fitzpatrick. Do they really want to add another veteran to the mix? They're always looking for bargains there. You could see that being a possibility. I also think, and I've talked about this on NFL Network, you have to look at some of those spots where teams may be looking for their quarterback after this year. Meaning with the Pittsburgh Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger, yes, they still have Mason Rudolph there, but could they get another quarterback in development if Roethlisberger leaves? New Orleans with Drew Brees just signed a 2-year contract, but Drew's been on a year-to-year plan for a while. They lose Teddy Bridgewater. Could Jameis slide in there? Or could he even go to Atlanta, back up Matt Ryan, back with his old coach from Tampa, Dirk Cutter? All those would make some level of sense. For Jameis, he's still a young guy. He's, 26, 27 years old. He's had production in the league. He's also just had too many picks. He's got to get somewhere where he gets better and sets himself up to, be able to get back out in the marketplace when it's a little bit more favorable in the coming years. And then with regard to Andy Dalton, I mean, the trade possibilities there have shrunk substantially. Cincinnati's not a team that does many trades as it is. They definitely had extensive talks with Chicago before the Bears acquired Foles. In terms of New England, they brought back Brian Hoyer on a 1-year deal, which, how about this? Second time that Brian Hoyer now has signed back in the past few years with the Patriots. In both cases, somebody else was paying Brian Hoyer. So you basically get a free trial of Brian Hoyer like you're ordering Netflix or something. Doesn't work out. The other team owes them the money. You give them nothing. Because it was the 49ers a couple of years ago. This time, it's the Colts that owe him $2 million guaranteed. But you bring in Hoyer. You have Jarrett Stidham. When he was coming out, what scouts said about Stidham was throws a beautiful ball. Just a great natural passer. But when things break down around him, when he's got to create, his eyes go down, he looks at the rush. That's the stuff that Josh McDaniels has been trying to work on with Stidham, and all the indications have been it's positive. But when I asked somebody there last week, is he ready? Is Stidham ready? The answer I got was there's no way for any of us to know right now because he hasn't played really in a regular season game. Bringing in Hoyer, you got somebody who knows the offense, can work with Stidham, who also at this point is indoctrinated in the offense to a degree. Bill Belichick, always thinking 2 steps ahead, may also be looking at this and saying, I'm not going to have an off-season program. I'm not going to have time to teach these quarterbacks the offense. So what if I just roll with guys who already know it? And then, if eventually somebody's being given away, Dalton gets cut, Cam gets cut, I get them on the cheap, maybe we consider that down the line too. But for the moment, Stidham has to be considered the top guy on the depth chart with Hoyer behind him. They still got Cody Kessler on the roster too, and they'll roll from there.
Tom, incredible job, bub. You hit every question there, by the way.
I appreciate it. You can give me 7 in a row. We'll try that next time.
By the way,
give me a full sequence. I'll see if I can cover the entire segment myself.
By the way, you got a little plug of the NFL mug too in there at the end. I mean, that was a hell of a job by you, Mr. Tom Pellizzari.
Still waiting for my For the Brand mug. Has not arrived. How many appearances do I have to do before that shows up at the doorstep?
Third time's a charm.
That's a great question. We shipped one to you. I think it got locked in the quarantine. Yeah. We shipped one to you. Yeah. We shipped one to the house. We thought it would be there in the back, obviously, to be honest.
We'll get it up there. You get it to me. We'll go. I'll stick it with the starting lineup guys up there.
Oh, I appreciate that. Look, that would be a good spot. Is that where you've been doing
right next to the Boz?
Is that where you've been doing all your TV stuff from, right there?
This is it, right here in the basement. Kids are currently locked on the main floor going through mock school with my wife, and I'm down here doing this.
That whole homeschooling thing has to be a real kick in the sack. Honestly, I've asked everybody about it because I have pets, right? And teaching them how to sit and stuff is hard enough. I couldn't even fathom if my children that I send away to learn stuff all of a sudden are just trapped in the house with me and I'm supposed to teach them. That's quite a life change, I would assume.
What I've figured out is that kids wear each other out. When you're around like 10 other kids your age, you're tired. No one wants to go to sleep. The daytime is packed enough. Again, it's mainly my wife. But the daytime is packed enough. At night is really where you feel it because no one's burned any energy. Let's party.
How old are you? No, shouldn't ask you that question. How many kids do you have?
Two girls. They're 5 and 3. You can ask that, Pat.
Well, Tom, you look like you're 12 is what I'm saying. The fact that you have the children is pretty impressive to me. You're all grown up over there.
I'm damn near 40, man. We're probably the same age, actually.
You just called me old. I'm 32. I've been living a lot harder than you have, though. Yeah.
I'm a hell of a lot older than you, man. Now, officially, we've gone to the depressing part of the show.
Tom, the NFL has decided that the draft will be done as a studio show. We kind of laid out the entire draft for you guys at the NFL Network and the NFL on this show just a couple weeks ago. I think that's the right move, by the way, to have one central command center, then drop into war rooms, have them announce their picks, and keep it moving forward. Is that going to be is ESPN going to have its own broadcast, NFL Network going to have its own broadcast, or is everything going to be together to your understanding? Do you know?
We don't know yet, honestly. We have not been looped in other than they're exploring different options. You would think that if the picks are being announced from a central command center, you'd probably just have one pool camera on Roger Goodell the entire time. And then, there's so many logistical things. I mean, you can stick cameras or FaceTime or whatever in the houses of draft prospects, bring them up that way. But do you want to have several competing networks, multiple different broadcasts? They have to figure out all of that. This is going to be unique. I mean, normally I'm standing outside of some facility like, past couple of years I've been at the Miami Dolphins, just standing out there. It's 110 degrees, sweating in my suit, and then they don't draft a quarterback and I fly home. That's really been my draft day the past couple of years. I imagine this one is going to be different. I just don't entirely know how different it's going to be.
All right, Tom, go in your basement, put your suit on. We'll call you if the team drafts somebody we want to talk about. If not, just hide from your kids and wife for an entire weekend. We'll talk to you later. It's awesome.
It's like every other day here. Yep.
Tom, I appreciate you, buddy.
Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
Ladies and gentlemen, from his basement, hiding from his children, NFL insider from the NFL Network and NFL.com, Tom Pellizzari. Thank you, Tom.
Later, buddy.
All right, we have to get to a break. We should probably read. Yep. Do your thing.
When's the last time you were driving through a storm and thought, wow, I love not being able to see when I drive?
Never.
Yeah, you probably haven't. Now, driving in bad weather doesn't have to be a headache thanks to the new Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades.
Oh, my God.
These blades last through everything to prove it. Michelin.
Sorry,
yeah,
I just read that.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Brady wanted to play for the Colts, and the Colts did the same thing that Belichick did, basically said, get out of town, pal. That's what Peter King just said.
Smart move.
Peter King Peter King reports Football Morning in America column that the Brady camp had interest in the Colts, but the Colts seem to be set on Rivers on a shorter deal.
Good idea.
Would have been good for business.
Great. Phil Rivers is still good. Still
Yeah,
good.
Yeah.
If each of his kids buy merch every time we release it, this company will stay afloat. Sorry, Diggs.
Michelin just put their new Endurance XT silicone wiper blades to the test on a world-breaking
Tom
16,000
Brady,
mile
dude.
drive.
Come on.
From Alaska to Argentina to show just how durable these blades are. Rainier Zietlow was the man behind the wheel, and he put the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades through the ice, snow, rain, thunder, and wind, and the blades took all of it. These blades are crafted for extreme weather performance with an advanced quad-tech 4-layer coated silicone that repels water, snow, and ice, and lasts 2 times longer than other blades.
Tom Brady could have been a Colt. Tom Brady could have been an Indianapolis Colt. What are we doing?
The Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades are real-world proven for extreme weather performance. Upgrade to the Michelin Endurance XT silicone wiper blades today, only at Walmart.
I love Phil. I love Phillip Rivers. I like what we got here. Tom Brady wanted to be a Colt, dude. He wanted to be neighbors. Tom Brady wanted to live right over there. Everybody said we had no shot because it was cold. It was Indy. Giselle doesn't want to live in Indiana. Everybody said. Turns out she did. And we did it. Why didn't we? I love Phil Rivers. Love Jacoby. Tom Brady, dude. 41 minutes after the hour is Pat Show. What the
Coronavirus ain't stopping us from getting a fucking pump on, all right? First, let's get some push-ups in. We up, we up, we up, we up, we up, we up, we up. That's one. When I dip, you dip, we 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 dip. Oh, God. That's what I thought. Now wall sit for about 20, 30 minutes straight. And that's it. Some of you might be thinking, that sounds a lot like a prison workout. And that might be where I learned this one night for an alleged incident. But stay in shape. Don't let COVID-19 boss you around.
Let's get it. Let's go. Dream house is a tour bus. Scream loud that you knew us. Deep down, I'm the new plug. You ain't about to get too dust. Pete's frown when they crew scrubs. Sweet sound from the two subs. Beats loud as a move, bruh. Lead the crowd like, ooh, what? Long hair on the big thigh. 210s, both sitting shoddy. Cracking fits, start getting rowdy. Blowing O's, looking like an Audi. It's Uncle Sam without the taxes. Crowd stands up, I keep them loud. I made this beat, you hear it smacking? Who is 30? Hand me a nap. You probably wasn't expecting this. What? Expected this?
You want to fornicate with me? You either get on the train or you're laying on the tracks getting run over. It's their sandbox. You gotta play by their rules. But at some point, Goodell has to come out and be like, yo, kick him out of the league. I do not get cramps in my hands when I'm writing checks.
He definitely deserves an apology, and that's my bad on that.
Work-life balance is a load of crap.
He's taking a bunch of average Joes.
Some of these younger guys, they're so confident in their ability that they don't think they need any advice.
Like, what are you doing? You don't see the best teams doing that.
It's just finding a way to be better today than you were yesterday.
One bad decision can affect the rest of your life.
Come on, Chicago! Let's hug it out, you little bitches!
If I would have had Aaron Donald at D tackle, they couldn't even line up and play football.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Our essence is not infinite. Let's make our todays better than our yesterdays, because we truly have no idea if tomorrow will ever come.
perfect hire can have an impact on your business for years to come. So when you need to find that next person to help grow your business, LinkedIn Jobs will match the right talent with your open role fast. LinkedIn has over 675 million members worldwide and screens candidates with the hard and soft skills you're looking for so you can hire the right person fast.
What are those, dude?
Things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn looks beyond the work skills and puts your job post in front of qualified candidates who match your business requirements perfectly. That's how LinkedIn makes sure your job post is seen by the people you want to hire, people with skills, qualifications, and other interests that will help your business grow. It's no wonder a person is hired every 8 seconds with LinkedIn, and why companies rated LinkedIn Jobs the #1 hiring platform for delivering quality hires. Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay what you want and get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/Pat. Again, that's linkedin.com/Pat to get $50 off your first jobs post. Terms and conditions apply.
Every 8 seconds, ain't that right, Z?
Oh, yeah.
Way to count them out back there. Thank you, Ty. Shout out to LinkedIn. Shout out to Peter King writing in his Good Morning Football column this morning that the Tom Brady camp had interest in going and becoming an Indianapolis Colt. All these things were circulating about Tom Brady. When he went out to that UFC fight all by him damn self, he met with Mark Davis in his haircut. Is he going to be a Raider, everybody said? Will he welcome a team to Las Vegas? Will Tom Brady be a Raider? No, Tom Brady will be a Charger. No, Tom Brady wants to be a 49er. No, Tom Brady's going to stay with the Patriots. Nope. Oh, is he going to go to the Colts? No, he's not going to do that. Giselle won't want him to go to Indianapolis. You think she'd rather leave Boston and Foxborough and go to Indianapolis? You think Tom's going to want to go to a place that Peyton Manning was at? You think Tom is going to want to go to the Colts, a place that he had a lot of rivalry with? Everybody said, no way, not going to become a Colt. Turns out that was wrong. Tom Brady wanted to become a Colt. Now, Chris Ballard, I trust his big Southern brain in his decision-making process. But if Peter King is in line here, Tom Brady and his people reached out to the Indianapolis Colts and said, hey, you had the greatest of all time, Peyton Manning. You had to cut him because you had Andrew Luck sitting on deck. Peyton Manning then went to Denver and broke every record that he could possibly break. It won a Super Bowl and led him to another Super Bowl. Maybe Tom Brady, it does what Peyton did in Denver, but for the Indianapolis Colts. How do you feel about that? And Chris Ballard said, nah, we're taking Phillip Rivers. Get the hell out of here, kid. Jim Irsay said, brother, I don't know if you can come here, bro. We got Phillip Rivers skipping rocks. You know he throws that skipping rock type ball. We like him, brother. Get the hell out of here. And Tom goes, well, damn. Seems like they want Phillip Rivers. They don't want me. I'm not going to another place that won't appreciate me. And Bruce Arians was down there in Tampa. Come on down, Tampa Tommy. We love you down here, pal. We absolutely love you. You're the GOAT, bub. You want to control the roster? You can, even though you said you don't want to. If you have some input that you would like to say about the roster, we trust you. We like you. You ever heard of Bill Gates? Bill Gates is building up an entire town here. We'll have him go to dinner with you the night before with Derek Jeter and the owner of the Lightning. We'll do everything we possibly can. I did not know there was a chance we could recruit Tom Brady to Indianapolis. I did not know that. I would have been sending texts to all the little local billionaires, which, by the way, there are more than one that live in Indianapolis. Hey, boys, can we set up a little bit of a dinner maybe with Tom Brady, huh? Can we build him a Tom town? We could build him an entire Tom state. I didn't know Tom Brady could have been a Colt. And Indianapolis Colts fans, they don't like the Phillip Rivers signing. I would assume they wouldn't have liked, some, by the way, not all. I would assume they wouldn't have liked the Tom Brady signing either. But as soon as he gets on the field, starts slinging that thing to T.Y., then Jack Doyle, and then if we got Antonio Brown as well, because Antonio Brown was coming with Tom Brady and bang, bang in that defense and everything. We would have won a Super Bowl. We would have won a Super Bowl. Colts would have won a Super Bowl. But now, Phillip Rivers is our guy. Let's go, Phil.
Hey,
Let's go, Phil. Let's go, Phil.
Phil.
I mean, I'm going to have to question that decision. I'm going to have to question that decision by old Chris Ballard. If he ever comes on the show again, I will. That will be first question. Mm-hmm. Did you know Tom Brady wanted to come and play for this team? And there was rumors. There was rumors. I didn't. But hey, Tom Brady is going to be a Buccaneer, probably where he should go, probably where he should go. And Phil Rivers is reunited with Frank Reich here at the Colts. But boy, it would have been nice to have Tom Brady as a neighbor right here, huh? Wouldn't it have been nice to have Tom Brady right in town? Right here in town? Connor would have came around, would have got a Colts jersey.
That would have been awesome. I definitely would be a Colts fan.
That didn't sound.
Oh, no, I'm being serious for sure.
You got a Tampa Tommy jersey already.
Oh, yeah, it's in the mail.
Let's go to Joel in Buffalo. Joel, what's going on, pal? I mean, what a terrible piece of information to get on this. Joel, what's up?
What's going on, Pat? How are you doing today?
Terrible. I just found out Tom Brady could have been a Colt.
Well, you know what? I'm pretty happy about that. He's out of the AFC East.
I know.
Buffalo Bills, time to shine. Stephon Diggs.
I think Stephon Diggs, you guys are going to hate him. I think Buffalo Bills fans are going to hate Stephon Diggs, I think. I mean, I like the Buffalo Bills. I think it's a good run. Sean McDermott built that team up to be great. They lost to the Texans last year, obviously, in the playoffs. Texans decided to tank again. They got rid of all their good players for terrible picks. I mean, it's just seems like the AFC is wide open once again. And, I mean, Phillip Rivers still got it. Phillip Rivers still got it. I've been a Phillip Rivers guy this whole time.
Yeah.
Gotta be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. What a terrible little piece for Peter King to write right there.
Maybe Ballard didn't want things to be awkward, with the statue out front of Peyton. Tom would have to drive by that every day. Could cause some friction.
No, you work at a facility. The statue is nowhere near it. And in the players' parking lot's on the complete opposite side of the stadium. He wouldn't even see that thing. Literally, wouldn't even see it. Nope. The only thing you would have saw is his big, handsome face on the side of the stadium, which would have been put up there. Phil still got it. Phil Rivers still got it. Phil.
Does he?
We'll talk to Sean Merriman in a second. I cannot believe Tom Brady could have been a Colt. We have the money to. We're paying two quarterbacks $40 million. We're going to pay him.
Hoyer, too.
We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Unbelievable. Today, our friend Cuban Zeke is battling Mario Kart in a circuit with $4,000 up for grabs.
He is a man who has said that he's the greatest Mario Kart player to ever play Mario Kart.
Yeah, I'm just like Ricky Bobby, only know one speed.
What's that?
Go fast, baby.
Oh, no, he took the outside lane.
He was in first for so long. Third place. Oh my! Heartbreak City. Oh, he did it again. He did it again. Last lap, Banana kills the Toad down to fourth. Will this be it? No, he's back in first. What a steal by Toad. He hits a penguin after winning the race, but who cares? $1,000 of G Fuels money being given away to the comment section at least. Oh no! Oh no! Not the water! Oh, the banana peel! He got himself again. Oh, no! No! That's going to be quite a setback for Cuban Zeke. Oh, he got what he needed. Needed that. Oh, he couldn't control it.
DK already finished. He got first. No $1,000 for the YouTube commenters.
Because of the pond.
First
place! The star from the box paid off for the final lap. Zito picked up 10 of those things and went from outhouse to penthouse. Now he's in first. Somehow he squeaks by what has been his Achilles heel. But the old nemesis. Up and down. Donkey goes down though. Toad gets the lead. Will that kick him in? The banana gets him again. Donkey Kong's on 8 or 2. We are back in the running. Donkey Kong's on his ass. The finish line. Zito has won.
It was nothing short of impressive, and we will be giving away $3,000 to the people that put the number 3 in the comment below.
From the heart of the nation, not your medication. 2 hours of magic, let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
You're damn right it is, Chase Rice. It's Monday, March 23rd, 2020. Welcome to the Pat McAfee Show, Hour 2 kicking off. I had to change my clothes because I had a lot of bad energy in my last ones because of what I learned there towards the end of the first hour, which Peter King reported today on his Monday morning Good Morning Football column article. What's it called? Do we know what it's called? Monday Morning Football After Day column.
Yep. That's it.
He's reporting that Tom Brady wanted to be an Indianapolis Colt. Tom Brady's camp wanted to set up shop in Indianapolis. Now, let's not even talk about the economy of Indianapolis booming because TB12 would be coming to town and a rehab clinic would be built probably right in a circle. And let's not talk about how the team is built ready to win, ready to go. I mean, one offensive weapon away from being, you know, a potential home run. The AFC South, you still got Billy O. Stooge down there. Right? I mean, Billy O. Stooge is down there. Tennessee Titans, they just re-up Tannehill. You know, they got Derrick Henry. They're going to be a force. Jacksonville's got no idea what they're doing. They paid a guy $80 million, sent him out of town for, you know, I mean, Minshew Mania might be a real thing, but they're an English team at this point. So it's the AFC South is still something. And we signed Phillip Rivers. And Phillip Rivers, by the way, I like Phillip Rivers. I like to hear him talk trash. I like that he doesn't swear while talking trash. I like that he loves football. That's all his life revolves around, his ball and growing his family, which, you know, that means baby making. So I like a guy that's life revolves around those two things. Football, baby making. Okay? That's the type of guy I think I would be friends with. Now, he doesn't swear, but he still chirps, so I think I would be friends. I like the Phillip Rivers signing. But now that it has been said that Tom Brady could have been an Indianapolis Colt, I mean, we're going to have to watch this next season and really see how things go. If Tom Brady is lighting it up down in Tampa Bay, just throwing the ball all over the yard, and Phillip Rivers is doing the same thing here, okay, good news. Nobody will talk about this. But if Tom Brady goes out and dominates next year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which by all accounts, in my eyes, I think he will, and Phillip Rivers struggles just a little bit with this Indianapolis Colts offense, I trust Chris Ballard. I trust Chris Ballard. I think Chris Ballard is a good general manager. I think Frank Reich, good football brain. Frank Reich was my quarterback coach whenever I was a rookie in this league. I very much trust and appreciate. But boy, as somebody that's from an outside perspective looking in, if you can get Tom Brady in your building, you get him in your building. And if he wanted to come to a team and instead you choose Phillip Rivers over Tom Brady, that's going to be something that people are going to talk about. Now, who would have thought that you would have an embarrassment of riches at quarterback to pick your choosing, and you have two legends in Phil Rivers and Tom Brady? One of them just so happens to, you know, have 6 Super Bowl rings. So I think this is going to be an interesting thing. Hey, I trust Chris Ballard, but boy, Tom Brady could have been our neighbor. Tom Brady could have been the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. That's something we're just going to have to deal with here in Indianapolis, Indiana, especially if he goes on and has success. Now, the Patriots fans are in a much worse position than us, obviously. The Patriots fans are going to have to watch him succeed, knowing that he wanted to be a Patriot bad, and they just chose to say, no, we don't want you here anymore with your diva garbage, okay? If you want to act after 20 years and become the greatest of all time, like you're better than anybody else, and you think people should say thanks to you and say you're good at football and like thank you and stuff, that's not going to happen here. You need to get out of town. But as a Colts fan who lost to that Patriots team a lot, and as a Colts player that lost that Patriot team a lot, to know that that guy could have not only said, see you later to New England and say bye to the Patriots fans and bye to Bill Belichick, but then he could have landed in Indianapolis, and Indianapolis could have been the team to do it. I think the Colts fans who hate Tom Brady at the moment and hate the Patriots at the moment, see him have a little bit of success, they would have loved getting behind that guy. Unlike what Belichick would do, that's why he ran him out of town.
Can you think of any reasons why the Colts would not want Brady?
Not a single one. Have it. Boy, I'll tell you, I went to the bathroom, had to change my clothes because how negative I was. I was getting very negative. I was like, I don't want to be negative. It might be the shirt.
It was awesome.
I was walking back and forth over here because I was like, wait a minute. Imagine if he comes to the Colts win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That's how I'm feeling, by the way, about Tom Brady. That's and maybe people say I ride the wave too much. You know, the ebbs and flows. I think I'm pretty even keeled. You know, when I said the Browns were going to win the Super Bowl last year, that was strictly because everybody else picked all the other teams that could potentially win a Super Bowl, and I was stuck with the Browns, so I went all in on them. I didn't know Freddie Kitchens would be a dumb stooge at quarterback. You know what I mean? I didn't know he would be a stooge. Did we know that?
No, how could have you known?
No, we don't know if Freddie Kitchens was going to be a dumb stooge. I mean, when we saw him on Stone Cold Steve Austin show with Baker, and I thought there was a chance he was potentially a stooge while watching that episode, but everybody seemed to like him, and they stunk. Now they're bringing a Harvard guy, a couple more Harvard guys, a couple more Ivy League people. Maybe they'll be good. But this year at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I feel the exact same way. The only outlier here is that they have the guy who's quarterback who has won 6 Super Bowl rings by himself. Like,
Nah.
And Nick Maralda's here, Tony Diggs is here, Ty Schmidt's here, Jason McAfee's here, Cuban Zeta's here, Evan Foxy's here, Boston Connor is here. He's the cynic in the background.
No. I mean, I'm just glad someone else is feeling the pain of losing Tom Brady.
Well, you know,
yeah, but
you had it. Ours was a never was. You know what I mean? Yours was a what could have. Ours is a what could have been. Yours is a you guys ruined it with him. You pushed the dime piece out of the house and told her never to come back.
That'd be tough to live with.
And the Colts got Phillip Rivers, and the Patriots got the Colts emergency quarterback that they had to pick up in like week 7.
Yeah, but they're paying
last
for
year.
him, so who cares?
Yeah, it's $2 million. Not really though.
Colts just put out a nice tweet for Phillip Rivers. You should check it out. Good quote from Phillip.
What's it say?
The tweet itself says, "Let's hecking do this," and they put an asterisk in the word heckin'.
The Colts.
All right, relax.
Oh, man.
Let's relax. There's no way what you just said. You're misquoting them, obviously. You are misquoting them.
Oh, no.
No, you're not. Do we have that, Zito? Do we have that?
First Brady, now this.
Enough back here,
That
please.
has got to be a misquote.
Please. It has to be a misquote. Can we get that up there?
Oh, it's up.
Oh, boy.
Colts just tweeted out, let's hack and do it. Can you put that back up? Let's hack and do this. I hear it's a heck of a locker room, and I don't know, and I know it's a heck of a team just from seeing them compete each year, especially these past couple with this new regime, says Phillip Rivers. Let's heck and do it. I don't think I understand. Are the Colts trying to ruin Phillip Rivers' legacy with that tweet right there? What is going on?
Tough
I think it says chicken.
No.
Let's
no
get that
C.
chicken.
It's Phil's fault for using heck all the.
But there's no way you could put a star. Oh, I get it, because they're saying he doesn't swear, so it's.
Yeah. So, like, that's supposed to
It's a
be like
play
a
on
swear word.
words.
I didn't think Monday, March 23rd could get any worse for the Colts.
Here we are.
Am I going to have to change this shirt?
At least the hat. I mean, you got to switch something up.
By the way, I got this from New Era. They sent me the Combine gear because I tweeted a compliment about their stuff. The New Era gear at the Combine was.
That hat's
It
awesome.
looks sweet.
This hat is very awesome.
Nice.
I have a big head, too, so it's not easy to find. Big shout out to New Era. By the way, Indianapolis company.
Really?
No way.
Didn't know that until they shipped it to me, and it had hey, we're in town, by the way.
Oh,
They
their
would have signed
headquarters
Tom
here, yeah.
Brady.
Huh?
They would have signed Tom Brady.
Yeah,
If
we
they
would have
had
had
a
New
chance.
Era in the meeting. New Era would have been in the meeting. Pat McAfee Foundation would have been in the meeting.
Oh, yeah.
People that started Exact Target, which is now Salesforce. They're billionaires. They would have been in the meeting.
Angie's List.
Angie's List.
I think they're
kind of dead.
They went under, but they could have been there.
They could have been there. I mean, we would have. I mean, Indy 500 people.
Yeah.
Roger Penske would have been in there. We could have got Tom Brady come build Tom Town in Indianapolis. I cannot believe that. That there's no way that's true from Peter King. Because I trust Chris Ballard. Okay, everybody knows that. The fact though that the Tom Brady team reached out and they said, "No, we're good with Phillip Rivers." Boy, now Tom Brady's got a chip on his shoulder again for the Colts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's not what we want. We just want to respect the guy, show a little appreciation for the greatest. Instead, we said, "Get the hell out of here, pal. You think you're coming to Indianapolis? No, get the heckin' out of here." Bro, that tweet.
There was
let's heck and go.
There was a quarterback signed today, though.
Who?
Just right now. The Panthers signed Philip P.J. Walker.
XFL players could sign as of today in the NFL. There was some rule saying they couldn't be signed. Now is the day that they're allowed to sign. Congrats to the XFL's MVP, Philip P.J. Walker, signing with the Carolina Panthers to back up Teddy Bridgewater while they're about to cut Cam Newton. I think that's a good signing. I think P.J. Walker, by the way, is potentially going to be this year's Tommy Maddox, a guy who goes from the XFL right into the NFL and has success. I'm not saying Teddy Bridgewater is going to get hurt or anything like that, but P.J. Walker will have to play some real downs this year, and we will see the XFL's version of P.J. Walker slinging it, dinging it all around town down there for the Carolina Panthers, who just so happen to run into 3 buzzsaws in the NFC South. The Drew Brees-led Saints, who are back with a head coach who has coronavirus, but they're obviously going to be good. The Atlanta Falcons are gearing up and signing everybody. Will Matt Ryan be able to give them another run with a little bit of a stooge head coach? They get a little bit of a stooge head coach. Bald stooge guy as a head coach. And then obviously the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just absolutely going all in. The NFC South is all of a sudden a place you don't want to be. Matt Rule, first year as a head coach in the NFL. Now, granted, he's making $70 million over the next 7 years, so that's enough to help you sleep at night. But this is going to be a tall task for them. 6 of their games each year are going to be against veteran teams that are ready to go to work. That's going to be a real tall task for the Carolina Panthers. Will Teddy Bridgewater and P.J. Walker be able to get through it with old Joe Brady's big brain? Excited to see. Now, I guess that we can take them officially out of the Joe Burrow sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Unless they sign Teddy Bridgewater to be able to move Teddy Bridgewater to Cincinnati whenever Cincinnati opts out to trade Joe Burrow down to Carolina Panthers. Draft night's going to be interesting, by the way. If they have one remote location and then they drop into all those war rooms, getting a chance to peek in there, seeing the panic maybe when somebody drafts the person that they wanted to pick ahead of them, or maybe seeing a trade happen. I think it could be good television, to be honest with you. I hope they don't get it wrong.
Will they still do the war rooms? Because how many people are typically in those? It'd be more than 10, right? So they wouldn't be able, would it be one guy making the decision as opposed to an actual war room?
It's very interesting because you probably have the owners in there, the GM, a couple of the head scouts, and then everybody else is just in their own rooms scattered around the facility. So you call into one scout who's like the SEC scout. You're like, you think this guy's worth a damn? I got the Big Ten guy telling me to take another guy. And they're arguing. It could be very interesting because I think those draft picks, I think the scouts have one last chance to pitch one of the players that they scouted before each pick happens. If they can't all be in the room, that will be interesting to see how it all plays out. I think the television will be good though. I think the dropping into the war room. I don't know if they're gonna have he said something about having Goodell there. I didn't expect.
No, that's why I got worried listening to Tom Pelissero talk. I feel like you need to get hold of the NFL somehow and just lay it all out because they're gonna feel like they could mess this up.
If Roger Goodell is playing Steve Harvey hosting this thing, I can't wait. I'm pumped. Must see television. If Roger Goodell's out there, welcome to the 2020 NFL Draft, brought to you by Progressive.
Do they play a boot track?
Yeah.
He'll be. I mean, he's not. That's his moment. He's not going to miss out on that. That's his one time a year where all eyes are on him, and it's his. There's no way he misses out.
Yeah, but Roger Goodell, anytime he wants to do I thought about this for Trump's State of the Unions that he's doing every day. Those numbers have to be. The number of people watching those daily have to be.
It's my favorite thing to watch.
That's what I'm saying. It's
everyone.
Everybody on earth is watching that. How many people have the ability right now to just call a press conference and the whole world would listen? Roger Goodell is one of them, I think. If Roger Goodell was to call a press conference today, everybody on earth would watch. Now, granted, there's people that hate football, but even the people that hate football have had football shoved down their throat the last couple of days because free agency is really the only thing that's happening. I think if Goodell wanted to, at any given moment, he would have all eyes on him. I think that's one of the only people. And Rob Manfred, I guess, if he was going to speak, everybody would be like, well, what's this baseball stooge going to say?
Yeah, Brady is probably one of those
Brady's
guys right
another
now.
guy, yeah. By the way, we have reached out to Tom Brady's camp to get him on this show. I want to let him know that not everything in Indianapolis would turn him down if his camp wanted to come on it. This show would let him in.
Maybe he will. Now that he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
We'll respect him.
Yeah.
By the way, we'd sign him.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Speak for yourselves.
Yeah. Oh, Connor, you would have no say in that decision.
Well, you said we would sign him.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking about this room right here. All right, let's get to a break. 15 minutes after the hour, we'll do phones on the other side. Then lights out. Sean Merriman is joining us in about 24 minutes. Joe Exotic got framed.
Oh, yeah.
Was he a bad guy? Probably. Disgusting, despicable individual that you don't think is even a real life human? Yeah, absolutely. He shouldn't be in jail for those crimes that they're saying he did, though. He was framed. Jeff Love. No spoilers, bad guy too. You'll never guess it. Joe Exotic's going to get out of jail. And there's another guy that we would take on this roster immediately. Country musician, big cat, zoo owner.
Oh, yeah.
And a man that's been framed. Joe Exotic. We're back on the other side. This is the
Foxy will be shooting these 10 shots from NBA 3 right at the top. Nick here will be shooting 10 hockey balls at the net, which has 4 targets in the corners. He will be in an office chair. He will not be allowed to move from the office chair. For each target that Nick hits, we will be giving away $1,000 to somebody in the comment section right now. For every shot that he makes, we will give away $1,000 to the commenters, to your Cash App or your Venmo. Do not cheat the Office Olympics like you're some fucking Russian. 1 for 1! The big bank shot, I did not expect that.
Are we playing 3-bar here? Are we trying to hit the targets, pal?
1 for 2 with a snipe on Fogel's face. That's $1,000 being given away to somebody in the comment section. Remember, this is the office's money. Okay, everybody's going through some stuff here. Let's not make it look too damn easy. 1 for 1. Kid from Williamston. Oh my God. Oh.
I see some dangles here on the kid.
Oh, right down the center. You really blew it away there. 1 for 6. Ice cold from the kid from Michigan. Foxy? I have to do more than Evan Foxy did yesterday.
Oh, I don't know why he's going after that one. Hasn't done it yet.
I can already feel the underbetters who were kind of shaking in their boots after that first one, coming back to life. They went into a hole there. They're coming back. They knew this was potentially going to happen. Will Evan Foxy let the haters win?
You got to go top shelf here. It's a lot easier.
Top. Oh my God, so unfortunate. So unfortunate on the bounce.
I mean, he's absolutely pooped the bed today.
Yeah, 1 for 9.
Walking around like he's got cement in his skates.
There are a lot of people wondering, why do I always pick Evan Fox to do these giveaways? Oh, that's tough. Try to backdoor Harvey Weinstein there. Evan Foxy going out on a high note. Is he the hero? Brick! All right, well, $1,000 goes to the commenters that said 1 at the beginning of this thing. There's that. We will give away $1,000 to the underbetters.
Tell all the hunters to lay down their guns. Tell them that the tiger needs a little bit of love. Let them run the jungle. Let them roam their land. Then stand back and marvel. What a beautiful cat. 'Cause I saw a tiger. Now I understand. give them a home, safe and warm. But the law wants to ban me. Can you tell me who's wrong? Every time they move, every time they breathe.
This is Joe Exotic, pretty despicable individual, but was framed for a murder for hire plot.
$5,000.
3,000. There's no spoilers, please.
Oh, sorry.
Unbelievable. Ty's only seen 2 episodes.
That's his fault by his
Ty,
time.
yeah, it is.
Not
100.
really.
I don't know how you stopped after 2 episodes. That,
It was like 1 o'clock last night. You know, we got work still.
no, but Tiger King was right there on the front page of Netflix every single time you turned it on.
48 hours.
For 72 hours, I think.
I'm not a sheep. You know, everyone else is watching. I'll watch it when I get around to it.
I respect that.
I don't. Because I would like to talk about it, but I can't because our guy who judges a lot of things hasn't been fully, kept up with the Tiger King.
By the way, 2 episodes in, completely sold. I mean, I'm going to finish it tonight, so.
Well, Zito watched the whole thing, and he doesn't remember anything that happened in it except for what he just spoiled.
So did he even watch it?
Great question.
Oh, I did. Oh, yeah.
Let's go to Randy in
Check under
Southern
the septic tank.
California. No spoilers. Let's go to Randy in Southern California. Randy, what's going on, bub?
Hey, what's up, Pat? I just had a quick question. I want to hear the love story, how all the guys met.
Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, Jesus.
Who cares?
Diggs and I grew up on the same street. He grew up on top of the hill, though. I grew up down the bottom.
Steep hill.
Nick Morado went to the same high school as me and Diggs. You're older than us. Ty Schmidt was an intern from Iowa. He got accepted into Harvard, turned them down like Tom Brady was turned down by the Colts. He went to the University of Iowa. Jason and I came out of the same birth canal. Attaboy, Jay. Happy birthday, Jay.
Good job, Jay. Great work, Jay.
Zito was an intern from Chicago. Foxy, intern from Michigan. And Connor, intern from Boston. And then my dad works here as well. And Billy Tubes, obviously, Billy's father started here with us. He's not doing his own thing. Billy Tubes stayed here and has become a basketball MVP. Pretty easy story, though, literally. Basically, it's been the same folks since about day one. Some people have left. I miss a lot of the people that have left every once in a while. Some people have come and gone. This crew here, tell you what, they're going to write a story about it one day.
Some left without saying goodbye.
Oh, come on.
Walked right out the door.
Had to do it.
Had to do it. Some people did do that. Everybody's had different exits. But I appreciate all of their work that they did whenever they were here. Let's go to Sheldon in Nashville. Sheldon, what's going on, pal?
Hi, I was just calling in. I was wanting to get your take on the Ryan Tannehill deal. I feel like he may have been a one-season wonder. Maybe that's me being a little drastic, but I don't believe he'll bring us that Super Bowl we're searching for that we've never got as the Titans.
The AFC, too, by the way. The Titans, Sheldon, your Titans are in an AFC is just filled with Titans. I mean, let alone Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson and potentially a revengeful Bill Belichick up there with the Patriots. The Colts said no to Tom Brady. We're better off without him. Let's get Phillip Rivers in here. Houston Texans are trying everything they can to lose. The AFC does feel like one, if you count the Pittsburgh Steelers in there, has a potential opportunity to get to the playoffs. Easier way to get to the playoffs, I think, in the AFC because the bottom half isn't as great as the NFC is. But, boy, the Titans signing Tannehill to $113 million, I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't think anybody saw. I thought Tannehill was going to take a team-friendly deal because he was terrible with the Dolphins. He had to experience a lot of fun with the Titans. He already gotten paid one time. But if you're Ryan Tannehill, you might as well strike while the iron's hot. And there had never been a time hotter for Ryan Tannehill than after this past season. They go on an incredible run, literally immediately upon benching Mariota and bringing in Ryan Tannehill. So I'm surprised by the deal, to be honest. And just like, I guess, the 49ers and the Colts, the Titans said, we're out on the Tom Brady sweepstakes. We'll take Ryan Tannehill over Tom Brady.
Yikes.
All these people are paying about the exact same amount that Tom Brady would have taken. So they can't say it was cash-wise. It's just openly admitting that Ryan Tannehill is better than Tom Brady. Phillip Rivers is better than Tom Brady. Jimmy Garoppolo is better than Tom Brady. The Las Vegas Raiders, Derek Carr is better than Tom Brady.
Jarrett Stidham.
Better than Tom Brady, says Belichick. Tyrod Taylor, Chargers said not as good as Tom, but if we don't get you, good enough to be our starter. This is a wild time right now. Obviously, with the way the world is, it is a very wild time. That does not have to go restated. But in the football world, a lot of craziness is happening. Canada and Australia in the real world will not send their athletes to the Olympics. Canada, obviously, good friend of the show. A lot of people listen and watch from Canada. We appreciate the hell out of you. Like that decision saying, hey, our people won't go to the Olympics. You know, not letting the rest of the world basically decide the Olympics probably aren't going to happen. Grandstand before it, you know, make sure you get it in there that you wouldn't send your players in there. Everybody will think you're better, Canada. Shout out to Australia saying we won't send our players unless there's our athletes unless there's a postponement of the Olympics. I feel like most of the world is under the assumption that the Olympics are getting postponed, right? I
They
think
said they have 4 weeks to decide what they're going to do.
But I think we all pretty much know what's going to happen here, right?
Yeah.
It's just like the rest of the world, it's going to get postponed. The thing that I'm very bummed about getting postponed was my newfound love, the AFL. I did a radio show in Australia. I did the call yesterday at 3:30. It was, I guess, this morning at 6 a.m. whenever I did their show, 6:30 a.m. So they're already in tomorrow, I guess, right? Because the way the time is, they're in the future. Yeah. And they asked me how I had never seen Aussie rules football before. I was like, great question, actually. Because there's a lot of Australian punters that have come over to America to punt footballs. And I don't want to offend my newfound friends in Australia, but whenever the Australian punters were coming over here, the original statement was they were punting rugby style. These guys are punting rugby style. I actually punted rugby style in college is what we called it, when ultimately it wasn't rugby style. It was actually Aussie rules football style, but we called it rugby style. The marketing from the beginning was wrong. Everybody said, oh, he's going in for the rugby kick. He's going in for the rugby kick. And then I started talking to some of these Australian punters. They're like, it's actually Aussie rules football, mate. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I always blew them off like, yeah, I get it, but it's rugby. It's the same as rugby. Rugby, very tough sport. I respect it, but it's a little bit too slow for me. It's a little bit too slow for me. I understand they're tougher than I am and stuff like that. I understand it's one of those games, but for me, the mosh pits and the whole thing, like, it's not what I would enjoy watching. But then when I actually watched an Aussie rules football game the other night for the first time in my life, I was like, wait a minute, this sport is awesome. A lot of wide open running, a lot of juking. There's like 6-7 punts a minute. The punting is the only way you score. There's these Moss-like catches from people. There's an American in the league called Mason Cox. They call him Coxzilla. He is 6'10". He Randy Moss's people. That basically the sport is potentially the best sport I've ever seen. And I had never in a million years taken the time to watch it ever. It was always late night, early morning. It was like, in my mind, it was rugby. And then I watched it Friday night. It is not rugby. It is a very different game. And the punters, in the volleyball punching of the ball, in the soccer-like attack style, I think it was the sport that I was supposed to play as a child. Like, if I would have known that sport was around as a child, I think I would have been playing Aussie rules football. I think now is a time that a lot of Americans were getting introduced to this great sport. Yet again, I guess back in the day, ESPN used to run it late night. Before my time, though, I had never seen it. But now is the time for it to make a run. Obviously, for the betterment of everybody's health, it's postponed until June. So now we have nothing. I was going to fall back. I was starting to gamble on it. I was learning about the new players. Now, granted, there's an entire Rolodex of old AFL games for me to watch on YouTube, which I'm a big fan of. But I want to see my guy, Coxzilla, Mason Cox, out there mossing folks. And I want to let the people of Australia know that I think I'm going to be an AFL fan for the long haul. This is a sport that I enjoy. They get up on each other's backs. I mean, they are yakking on people. Kicking is it's dominant. It's a dominant thing in the sport. I love it. We're going to go to Australia at some point and watch one of those.
The field is massive.
Oh yeah, the field's like 3 miles long. It's like it's bigger than any other playing surface. And then they got 90, 100,000 people in the stands, I guess, on a regular basis. And over in Australia, they love it. I guess it is like cult-like following over there.
People are saying it's your fault that it got postponed, though, for
Whoa.
bringing awareness to
I know.
it.
Foxy,
That's what people
whoa.
are saying. I didn't say it.
I know, yeah. And by the way, I felt a little blame too, because I went on this incredible 3-minute rant about how AFL, Aussie rules football, is the sport of the future and it's the sport of the now. Although a lot of live sports are not happening because of social distancing, there's a sport down under where the players are 4 miles away from anybody. They're out in the middle of this whole space. There's contact. They're hitting each other. They're blowing each other up. There's precision with the punting and the kicking and the throwing. And then the refs are throwing it over their head. I was like, this is it. That got a little By the way, I think a lot of people are like, wait a minute, we found it. And then a lot of people are like, there's no way these dudes should be jumping on top of each other. They're like, postpone it for another month. It's probably my fault.
Just ripped our hearts out again.
Probably my fault. But this is what COVID-19 does. It tests your patience. Test your patience. You know what else tests your patience? Whenever you find out you could have signed Tom Brady as your quarterback for the same exact price that you signed Phil Rivers for. Now Phil Rivers has a lot to prove. Phil Rivers, I know, is a guy that loves football, loves the football. I'm a big Phil Rivers fan. I was a much bigger Philip Rivers fan before I found out that Tom Brady wanted to potentially be in Philip Rivers' spot with the Indianapolis Colts. But I love old Phil Rivers. I cannot believe Tom Brady wanted to be a Colt. Could you believe that? No.
No, I don't.
Heckin' unbelievable.
Oh, come on.
Don't do that.
I mean, I feel like if you hear that, you're doing whatever you need to make sure that becomes a reality.
Let's go to Hassan in Toronto before we get to a break, before Sean Merriman joins us. Hassan, what's going on, pal? Love this guy.
Not too much, Pat. How are you doing? And how are the boys doing?
We're great now that you called in, Hassan, to be honest with you.
Hey, Pat, I want to thank you and the boys for doubling down and producing more content in time where people are scaling back. It's very good. It gets us through the day. I have a question for you, Pat. If Tom Brady would have signed with the Colts, would Pat McAfee have come out of retirement and punted for him?
No, Rigoberto Sanchez is good enough. By good enough, he's better than I am right now at punting if I had to go punt. I don't know who they're going to have as a kicker. Maybe if they had kicking problems next year, especially with the added no suspension for the vitamins failed test, potentially get out there and kick balls for him next year. But boy, the buzz in this town if Tom Brady was coming to the Indianapolis Colts would have been next level. Just like it is in Tampa, by the way. Season tickets probably already sold out. Everything in Tampa's going up. Bill Gates, Tom Town's going in there. I mean, everything in Tampa is buzzing, and that could have been Indianapolis. You know, my heart broken about that just a little bit, Hassan. Just a little bit, Hassan. I appreciate you, though.
Do you think Colts fans would have been happy with Tom Brady?
Well, it's the same thing that a lot of them aren't happy with Philip Rivers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I think we would have had to get through that phase of a couple months of everybody hating everything, and then what, you show up at training camp and it's like, oh, we got a guy. Oh, we got a guy. Oh, we got look at this guy. We got a guy. Huh. Philip Rivers is a guy, though. I like Phil. I trust Chris Ballard. Let's get to a break.
Tell you what, Pat and Tommy Tuesdays on the Pat McAfee Show would have had a good ring.
One more time, Tom Brady will come to the Colts. One more time, we said hell no. Tom Brady will come to the Colts. We told him to go himself. We're back on the other side with Sean Merriman, lights out, talking about Tampa Tommy, Philip Rivers, you name it. This is the Pat McAfee Show. Every once in a while, we like to dive deep into the most beautiful place on the internet, the YouTube comment section, for some YouTube questions.
YouTube questions.
See, you missed it.
I know. I was reading.
All right, yeah, it's okay. Yeah, do your thing.
Two good questions today. One's from Ben Duffy. Least favorite place to punt, and then how does it feel to have a basically 11-minute highlight film on Snapchat the other day?
Yeah, a lot of people were tweeting me the Snapchat thing. That was very nice of the NFL to put that out there. Season 25, episode 7 or something like that. I got a lot of screenshots of it yesterday. The screenshots I was getting was a fat Pat. You know, you can kind of see through my entire highlights where I put on some pounds. You could see the offseason was better some seasons than it wasn't. And I'm very thankful for the NFL putting my highlights out there. I'm not 100% sure if there's any other punters out there that have an 11-minute highlight reel. If they do, I'd be excited to see it. It's nice to visit those sometimes and remember that I had it at one point, Whenever I get up and I pull a hamstring trying to take a shit in the middle of the night, I'm like, you know what? Let me go watch some highlights from not that long ago to make sure I remember that I was once an animal out there. I'm very thankful for the NFL doing that. And the worst place to punt by far was Cleveland, Ohio. It was an absolute nightmare. I woke up the morning we were playing against Cleveland Browns, and I opened I black out my hotels as soon as I get in there, by the way. As soon as I get in, immediately black out the entire thing. I wake up in the morning, let's see what Cleveland's got. We're overlooking the stadium, and there was a building right next to the Cleveland Browns Stadium or whatever, and it had 6 flags on the roof. And every flag was blowing directly as fast as it possibly could. And I was like, oh, fuck, going to be in for a long one today. I have never had to punt in a situation like I had to in Cleveland. I think it was like 35, 40-mile-an-hour winds. I was jogging on the field just like, I'm fucked. Here we go. And they had a guy returning it whose nickname was the Rabbit. So there was one punt. I had to hit it very low to get it out of the back of our end zone, basically. The Rabbit caught it and almost shoved it right up my ass. So I think the worst day I had was in Cleveland, and I will never, ever forget that. But I have nothing but respect for those who could kick balls well there because I never could. So those are 2 YouTube questions from the most beautiful place on the internet, the YouTube comment section. YouTube question.
If you're listening to the show right now, I want you to take a second and look down. When was the last time you shaved your junk?
It's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while. I'm not going to lie. Let's take a second to thank our sponsor, Manscaped, for holding you accountable to get rid of the funk and shave
your junk.
Manscaped is the only man's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Do not read. Manscaped is never changing the grooming game with their Perfect Package 3.0 Essential Kit. The perfect tools for your family jewels. The Perfect Package 3.0 comes with the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. It's waterproof, it's cordless, and it trims the body. A ton of liquid formulations to round it out your manscaping routine.
Nailed it.
You mind if I call it some action?
Please do.
Yep, you got it. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code America at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And use the code America. Your partner, your body, and your balls. Well, thank you.
That a boy, Z. Way to go, Zito. Joining us now is a man who was an All-Pro, a Pro Bowler, spent a long time in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, lights out, Sean Merriman. What's going on, Sean?
What's up, my man?
Hey, thanks for joining us. I saw you tweet that you wanted me to ask you about Tom Brady basically getting kicked out of the New England Patriots franchise by Bill Belichick and them saying, Tom Brady, it's been leaked that he, in Wickersheim's article, that he didn't feel appreciated, he didn't have fun, and then basically he wanted to be a Patriot. They just didn't want him to be there. What were your thoughts on that whole give and take between he and Belichick potentially?
Well, I think they knew where Tom Brady was physically right now in the stage of his career. A lot of people are going to say, well, you can't say that about Tom Brady and all. And I get it and I understand. He's going to go down as the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. But right now, he's not the greatest quarterback that ever played the game. And I think the New England Patriots, they've seen that. And I think that they know, physically where he's at right now, but also they have a better shot with that defense that they have this year and how the defense played this past year. They have a better shot to getting somebody that's younger, that's probably not as talented or can do as more, but they can still sustain. We're seeing the same thing with Dak Prescott. It's no different. I put these two in the same boat because, I believe that if the Dallas Cowboys thought that Dak Prescott was going to be their quarterback for the next 5+ years, and he was such a talented player, they would have been paid him. There's no need for them to pay everybody else around him and not him. So I think they also seen where Dak Prescott is as a player.
So you think that aside from the New England Patriots, who obviously haven't valued Tom Brady as much as Tom Brady potentially values Tom Brady, and the Buccaneers have valued Tom Brady, and that's Bill Belichick's thing, is I want to get rid of somebody before they crash, long before I hold on to them and watch them crash. That's always been Belichick's thing. We never knew what was going to happen with Tom Brady. There's always been this statement that he treats everybody the same, but now it's coming to fruition that Bill Belichick is an OG. He does not care. Let's move forward. We are on to 2020 with Jared Stidham. But when it comes to the Cowboys, that's an interesting thought because a lot of people have shared the same sentiments. It's like, yo, this guy's your franchise. Everybody says it. Even Jerry Jones has come out and say it. Why won't they give him a long-term deal while paying everybody else at the top of the market around him? Amari Cooper gets a massive deal. Zeke gets a massive deal. The offensive line's getting a lot of deals. The defense is getting deals. If they truly believe that Dak Prescott was their guy, you think they would have already paid him this one-year deal thing that they're doing franchise tag. Do you think that's to see if McCarthy hates him or if he hates McCarthy? Or what do you think this 1 year is all about then?
This one year is about for Dak is if he can go and perform under a different quarterback. Was it Jason Garrett holding him back? Could he do more? Or has he capped out on his potential? You look at just how that whole team is built. Go back to DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, look at the contract they gave him on the defense side of the ball. You telling me, and nothing against him, he's a hell of a player. I mean, but you pay your defensive end more than you pay your quarterback, and you still have him playing under that same contract you have him. That's kind of, in my point, a slap in the face. So if you're Dak Prescott, no matter what happens this year, you ball out and you leave. I believe the Dallas Cowboys already saw the market for him. And if they knew that there was more teams out there willing to pay Dak Prescott the $35+ million a year that he won, they would have been signed him. But I don't believe there's a lot of teams out there that's going to pay him max dollar because we've already seen him kind of plateau as far as talent-wise. Now he just needs that great team around him to help him win.
Do you think Dak Prescott holds out, or do you think he ultimately signs a franchise tag?
No, I think he holds out, and he'd be smart to, because they had an opportunity to sign him at a much lower cost, and they didn't. So that's kind of the you're playing with fire, and they kind of drove it all the way up to that point, and now they don't know what to do with it other than franchise them. So there's no way to even, in my opinion, even if he comes back and play, there's no way to keep him because he's going to ask for such a large amount of money that he's probably not worth. Right? I mean, he's probably going to be asked for more money than he's not worth, because at that point, there's going to be one team out there that's going to pay him $40 million a year when he gets done with his contract. One team. But there's not 3 or 4 teams out there right now that's going to pay him $35 million, so that's why he's getting tagged.
He's getting $33 million with that franchise tag. If he looks at that piece of paper and says, I'm not signing it, I will have so much so much respect for that move. Looking at a piece of paper, a 1-year deal, guaranteeing $33 million and going, nah, I'm not signing it. That is fantastic. I hope he does it, but I'm not saying that he should or that he won't, but just that ability to say nah to $33 million is one that I don't think I would ever have. I don't think I would ever have that. I hope he does. Let's go back to the potential pool that could be interested in Dak Prescott. You said one team. This offseason, everybody was talking about where Tom Brady was potentially going to end up at. It was the Raiders. It was the Chargers. It was the Niners. It was all these teams. It was come out now that the Colts were a place that Tom Brady's camp wanted to go. The Colts chose Phillip Rivers over Tom Brady. I mean, if you really look at it, that is kind of what Peter King laid out in his blog, is the Colts chose Phillip Rivers over Tom Brady. Why do you think they did that, especially being somebody who's so close to Phillip Rivers? And do you think that is ultimately going to be the right move in the end with Phil Rivers and the Colts?
Yes, because they're seeing this. The Colts are seeing the same thing that I've been saying the past few months, but everybody kind of pinned me as this Patriots hater, which I am, and I'm glad and proud of it. But at the same time, I'm just saying the truth. Right now, their stage of their careers, Phillip Rivers is a much better quarterback than Tom Brady physically. And I believe that he can go out now and outperform Tom Brady right now in this stage of career. A lot of people you stick Tom Brady's name up there and you talk about just all these Super Bowls. I get it and I understand, but right now in their stage of career, somebody asked me, and I'm not saying this because I played with Phillip and I have a relationship with him. I'm saying it because if I'm looking at two quarterbacks that I want the team to bring in, I'm saying, oh my God, I want Phil because I know that Phil can play physically better at a high level for the next couple of years. Tom Brady might be, make smarter decisions. Tom Brady might do a couple other things better, but as far as physically to go out and compete as a quarterback, Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Tom Brady, and that's why the Colts were higher on Phillip than they were on Tom.
Okay, Frank Reich, also a tie with Phillip Rivers. He was his offensive coordinator in San Diego or LA. I forget which team Frank Reich was out there for. You get it. Him and Phil know each other. Jacoby Brissett is still on the roster. He's owed $21 or $22 million, I believe, going into next year. How will Phillip Rivers be with Jacoby Brissett? Has there ever been a time where Phillip Rivers has been just an insufferable guy? Because I don't know how this works for Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby was the starter last year. Even when Luck was the starter, Jacoby Brissett was the one that was rallying the players-only meetings. He is loved in that locker room for obvious reasons. Now Phillip Rivers gets in a $25 million deal. He's the starter. Jacoby's the backup. How do you see that whole thing going with the entire team and the quarterback room?
Well, for one, I don't know if Jacoby's going to stay there. I think that he possibly could be back on the move to New England. He possibly could, be moved somewhere else. If he does, Phil only signed a 1-year deal, right? So they can find out very quickly if Phil can play or not. I mean, it's not going to take a whole season. It's not going to take the whole training camp. They'll find out very quickly if Philip's their guy going forward. With that being said, for 1 year, they definitely, for sure, 100% got their guy. It's just really depending on if Brissett can stay in the background, but I don't see him as a backup quarterback at this stage of his career. I don't see him as a backup quarterback. He's a great leader. He's a great player, and he can go help another team right now. So why not have him on the move? I really see him going back to the New England Patriots because, I believe that Bill Belichick can win with him. He has done some great things with him, but I think that Bill Belichick at this point wants to prove a point to Tom Brady and everybody else out there that it was mainly him on why that team had success and not Tom Brady. And I believe that Bill Belichick is going to do it with another quarterback.
I think I think the stories about Tom and Bill not getting along are only going to continue to seep out here. And I think however they each do alone is going to write the narrative for the long haul. I mean, Bill Belichick's quote, whenever Tom said he was leaving the New England Patriots, was this very well thought out. It was like a 2-scroller. I love Tom. He's the greatest of all time. But it came only like 15 minutes after Tom announced that he was going somewhere else. So he had this quote on deck ready to go for Tom's departure, it seemed like. Now, he said a lot of great things, but both of them know that they will be judged in the eternals of history for how they do without each other. And boy, it feels like that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team is set up for some real success quick, as opposed to the Patriots are going to have to figure some stuff out. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean Tom Brady right now has more weapons than he's ever had in his whole career, especially on the offense side of the ball. I mean, he has weapons all over the place. Not to mention they got some talent on that defense, man. They can just straight up get after it. Both of these is Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. They're risking a lot right now. Honestly, they're both risking a lot, and they will go to the end to prove which one was right, which one is right in this outcome. I mean, if Bill Belichick, if they have a bad season, everything they've done over the past 2 decades was because of Tom Brady.
Yep.
If they have a great season, it was all Bill Belichick, and Tom Brady was just a guy who I made look really good. So it was a tough move. I thought, honestly, as bad as I didn't want it to see happen, I thought Tom Brady was going to come to the Chargers. I literally, when I woke up in the morning and I saw that he was announcing that he was leaving the Patriots, I thought my worst day was coming. I said, this is happening to me today, and there's nothing I can do about it. I spoke it into existence, and I felt ill. And I knew it wasn't the corona. I was like, no, because I haven't been around anybody. But I felt really, really ill that I just knew that he was coming to the Los Angeles Chargers because that was the best fit for him all the way around. People forget that the Chargers just a couple years ago was a 12-14. Without the offensive line that was banged up and guys went down for the season being hurt, you still have a great team. So you walk in with an offensive line, right? Pouncey's coming back. They got the new offensive lineman from the Carolina Panthers. Forrest Lamp coming back. They signed Eckler to a longer term deal. I'm thinking in Austin, and Eckler's a Tom Brady guy. He's like a Tom Brady type of guy. So I thought for sure that they were setting up everything for him to come, and I was like, no, this is happening to me. So I was a bit relieved, which I think is a bad move on Brady's part to go to Tampa Bay and not the Chargers. I was pretty relieved to see him go to Tampa.
All right, we got about a minute. The Chargers are saying they're moving forward with Tyrod Taylor, but everybody believes Cam Newton's going to get cut. Do you think they make a play for Cam Newton, or do you think Tyrod Taylor's the guy going forward?
Well, this is the funny thing. I talked to Cam in Miami during the Super Bowl. So Cam originally told me that he didn't think that he wasn't asking to be traded. He wasn't trying to get out of there. But me being me, I'm like, hey, I'll come out here. Come out here to the Chargers. I would love to see him out there playing, right? And he didn't think that the Carolina Panthers would even let him go to talk to another team. So I was shocked to even see that they gave him the opportunity to go and seek other deals. And when you go and sign Teddy Bridgewater to a long-term deal, you're telling him what it is right away. So would I like to see him with the Chargers? Yes. Do I think he can do well with the Chargers? Absolutely, especially on a short-term deal. But if they have to go with Tyrod Taylor, just 6 games a year, whatever it is, and then draft a rookie, whether it's Love or Herbert, you can win with that too.
All right. Well, Sean, I appreciate you so much for joining us. You're the best, dude. Absolute
You got
best.
it, my man.
Lights out.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Sean Merriman, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Sean. All right. Cam Newton's getting the Chargers.
Yep.
Has to.
We can make that official. We said Phil was coming to the Colts. We made that official 2 weeks before it was official. Didn't know Tom was coming. Wanted to come. That's wild. Well, we'll be back at 1 o'clock with McAfee and Hawk Sports Talk, and then we're back tomorrow with another Pat McAfee show being syndicated nationwide on Westwood One and worldwide on youtube.com/The Pat McAfee Show. We will see you tomorrow morning, same Pat time, same Pat channel. This has been the Pat McAfee Show from Indianapolis, Indiana! Cheers.